Ladies and gentlemen, order in the court. Today's proceedings find the people versus James McGill.
Legal troubles got you down? Bosses refusing to pay out? Hit and run? Leave you stunned? Drug lords in your future? Maybe not, because he'll get your case dismissed. He'll get you the defense you deserve, but only if you say the words.
Oh no, I need legal representation. Whatever shall I do? What do I say? Oh wait, I know. Better Call Saul. So without further ado, let's begin. Judging Saul. Court is now in session.
You will atone.
All right, Dragon, we're back. We're talking Season 5, Episode 2, 50% off. That's almost half, Dragon.
It is.
So, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get right into the credits, because this is, of course, the second of 2 episodes that were released this past week. AMC's been... I noticed they've been doing this for a lot of shows. They've been doing it with their new shows as well, or at least one of the new shows they keep advertising like crazy.
Yeah, the thing
Right, which I'm very curious about, but this is neither the time or place for that. But Dragon, of course, we got the, premiered on Sunday night, then second night was Monday, the usual time slot. So we're a little bit behind schedule, so let's just dive into it. Let's, what do you have in terms of credits here?
All right, so we have a new boy in the director's chair, where we have not like one who's been like a blast from the past, like the first episode. In this case, we have Norberto Barba. Norberto Barba here. He has directed basically almost all the Law and Orders. He's did an episode of Preacher. Point is, he's been around. This guy's been around. He's been experienced, and importantly, he's got a little skin in the game of law on TV, on the old procedural lawyer show. So he's got some experience, and we saw what the end result was here. And I feel our opening that we're going to get into, I think, reflects his abilities, and reflects them rather well, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so then we have our writer, who is an old familiar, is Allison Tatlock, who I want to say she worked in a different capacity before she graduated to writer, but just in case she hasn't, if we're just operating on the writing credit alone, Allison Tatlock wrote one of the best episodes of Better Call Saul. She did Something Stupid. That was her.
That is definitely up there. That's like a top 5 baby episode, I would say.
She is. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She did an excellent job on that one, and she did a really good job on this one. So without further ado, let's dive right into it.
Okay, so of course we start kind of like going back to probably the most famous scene from the first episode, the parking lot, the Magic Man scene. We see Jimmy / Saul kind of somewhat hesitantly giving away the 50% off coupons, against Kim's advice.
It's really great is when they shot this, they had both directors on set for this. They basically kind of handed off because they didn't have to set everything up exactly the same when they
nice.
the episodes. Basically, we shot they shot the scene the first time, then they bring Norberto on, and he directs like kind of the PS on it, which kind of links up to this episode. So we meet 2 new characters, Sticky and Ron. So
I had another nickname for them because I didn't know their names. Do you want to know what I called them?
I have a guess.
I called them Beaver and Lanky Luke.
I was going to say, mine's a little bit more on those. I was going to say a proto Skinny Pete and Badger, but yours is better. I'll concede.
I was just like, I don't know the names. I assume their names are in the credits, right? But they're very Badger and Skinny Pete-esque, so I'm like, okay, let's see. Badger, Beaver, Skinny Pete, Lanky Luke. All right, that works. Okay,
but here's the thing, though. When I saw these guys for a moment, I got really excited because I thought, oh, God, we're doing a younger version of Skinny Pete and Badger.
Oh, no. God.
Which, again, for a moment, I lost my mind. Then we kind of got a good... Because, again, from a distance... one has hence the whole proto Skinny Pete and Badger. And one's wearing the hat and he's got the facial hair. The other one's a little taller. He's got kind of the wild hair going,
Right.
from a
Oh
distance.
man.
And again, I get the point being, we're definitely setting up kind of an archetype here for to put it lightly. We're setting up an archetype of characters we will see.
But these people are like Badger and Skinny Pete on
Mhm.
steroids, though. That's the thing.
Exactly. I mean, Badger and Skinny Pete, they develop over time, and there's a lot of fun there. And of course, again, there's a lot of heart to Skinny Pete we learned by El Camino and
Oh
Badger.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Badger, basically, you can pair Badger with anyone, you're going to get an interesting number of results. We've seen him paired up with Walter White in the shorts that they did on the.
Of course, famously, he was paired up with Saul Goodman himself. He's what brought
Yes.
Saul into Breaking Bad.
Very, very pivotal role. Excellent pull, by the way. Yes. So basically, these guys are the definition of the idiot clientele of kind of that Saul Goodman represents. Hence the.
And I also feel like they're the definition of what Kim was warning against, like, like encouraging people to do the crimes to get the 50% off.
50% off. That's almost after that. That is not a good omen for what's about to unfold.
No, it is not.
All right, so then we have what I guess I'd call like kind of the Bender montage, and these guys are going kind of on a spree of non-violent felonies, I suppose you'd call it, basically. So we basically have a Bender montage, just to abbreviate a little bit because we can go on a long time with this one. Basically, we have these two pinheads think that they can get. Basically, these two pinheads think they have a get-out-of-jail-free card, when in reality they don't. But they do, which again completely fulfills Kim Wexler's warnings in her self-fulfilling prophecy of no, Jim, this is exactly what's going to happen. It's going to encourage crime, which we don't want to do. So the Skells are now committing various crimes. We had like this kind of this poppy, overseas music playing as they're all good. Like they're basically the setup is they start their night off by buying product from Arlo and Mouse, who we set up in the other episode. Basically, the Fifth Street crew that works for, as we're going to learn, works for Domingo, which we'll see more of that later. So we do kind of the classic speed up, kind of like time elapse shot as they're committing various petty crimes. Like just to list them off here, like driving under the influence of. I believe cocaine. I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing here. I know sometimes that we had the shoe full of meth, which always threw me off, but the whole keys of products just cocaine. So the point being, they're high on something.
Then they're stealing groceries. They're stealing lawn gnomes. They're, of course, publicly vandalizing. They're smashing windshields.
Stealing purses and groceries.
Many of things.
Yeah. Gas stations. So they're stealing lottery tickets and again, like not a major, right? Not by gunpoint or anything. Just like taking like they're probably stealing the lottery tickets and all the food they can carry, Shazam style. They're dashing.
Exactly.
All right. So basically, all of this happens. A lot of property damage, like literally smashing car windows and everything. Just wanting whatnot.
Better Call Saul montage, amazing. Water wet. You know what I mean? We could just go on singing its praises, so, as I said.
Next morning, they wake up. They reveal that they kind of like crashed like a lamppost or a hydrant or something.
You know what my favorite detail of this is that I caught on a rewatch was the jogger running by and she has to do a double take.
I love it. Great reveal. So then the two friends are. Oh, this is ridiculous. So the one, so I think so. Sticky's the one that hat by. Sticky's the stinky, the Skinny Pete. Anyway, so he wakes up. Hey, what?
Oh God, Dragon! You know what this is?
What is this?
This is the Arnold's country cousin version of Badger and Skinny Pete.
Well, they're not as horrifying. It's not like a bizarro version.
It's not as horrifying, no. But I'm just like they are very much like kind of like alternate reality versions of the two.
You have a point there. Anyway, so what day is it? Tuesday. You know what that means?
50% off!
So then, presumably, the whole cycle gets started off all over again. Because they basically have like another week of felonies in them.
Oh, God.
Right.
All right.
Oh, we have the gnome shot, which is going to pay off later. We see like this broken gnome, again, kind of a cone-shaped kind of gnome kind of broken on the sidewalk there. So
sure.
But also a subversion, because tell me this, Tiki. Tell me you didn't expect this cold open to end with them getting arrested, hence Saul Goodman having to step into the fray at the end of this, right?
Oh, no, that's absolutely what I thought was going to happen. But, of course,
interesting Saul subversion.
Saul Goodman, by the end of the episode, gets called into something much more interesting than these two knuckleheads.
Great bait and switch for the fans of the show, I got to admit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so now we, yes, so it's not, we go from two guys waking up. Oh, I want to mention this. this episode has tremendous transitions. I love all of our transitions in this episode. We keep with really solid transitions. Basically, we have like really these things to tie into. Again, these guys wake up. Meanwhile, Nacho is sleeping. We have all sorts of stuff like that throughout this episode. It's really kind of neat. But more on that later. So Nacho's sleeping in his pad, with the two
This
girls.
scene is just brutal, man.
Oh boy! So the two girls from last time we saw Nacho kind of living it up, but also he's not really enjoying life on top. He's just basically saving up money so he and his father can kind of get out of town. But then he gets an unfriendly wake-up call. So initially we're thinking, oh god, home invasion. I love this, like not just fighting off intruders. Because again, in retrospect, Gus Fring's men, who we learn are Tyrus. We see Tyrus, then Nacho relents after he's fighting off these guys. He went for his gun and no go. He's fighting him off all he's worth. This oh god, it's Tyrus, and he goes into the surrender pose. And again, in retrospect, I know Gus Fring's guys are trying to make a point here. I know they're trying to be very scary, and they are. But, guys, if you don't want him to fight your guys, if you want him just to submit, you could just, tap him on the shoulder or something. I don't know. Do you have to go for the whole, home invasion?
Well, you know what, Dragon? I kind of had the same issue with Tyrus in Breaking Bad, with the whole laundry of it all. I was like,
Tyrus
all right, Tyrus is going out of his way to be a dick.
That's a thing. It's Tyrus for you. I mean, you're right. It's just Tyrus. Yeah. Anyway. Well, he shoots him like Nacho mid-sentence last time, and you should call it.
I really don't think that Tyrus is a great example of the pleasantries of crime in the Albuquerque verse. You know what I mean?
Mr. Anti-pleasantries, yeah.
Exactly.
he could use a few lessons from Lalo, if you ask
me. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, anyway, so Nacho, and now back to the severity of the situation here. Nacho, he's in the middle of the night, not even dressed. He's taken the middle of the night, put into a car. And also, we get a little fun detail I didn't catch in the first episode, where apparently Nacho, and this is so logical, I love it. Nacho mentions, I did what you said. He switched the product for Fring. He switched the product out. That's why Lalo had kind of the outsourced product that would call for the sit down. Nacho switched it out. So it was really clever. And that's why Nacho was so protesting so much. Like, hey, it's fine. You don't need to check anything. That was Nacho playing his part. Really nice.
And I love how this show is smart enough to where it trusts its audience that things can happen off camera and we can put the pieces together for it.
Certainly. All right, so Nacho is taken to witness his father and his friends. They're I think they're either eating dinner or they're playing poker. So we do have a poker theme to this episode.
Something like that. Yeah, it's some sort of gathering.
They're all gathered around a table. It looks like they're in a restaurant of some kind, so I assume they might be grabbing a bite to eat, but again, could be poker. The point being, they probably are familiar with the guy who owns the place. I don't know. Anyway, the point being, Nacho's father and his friends are all gathered around a public place, and Nacho is helpless. And of course, tell me you didn't think of Jesse Pinkman in the Andrea scene from season 5. Tell me you didn't think of that scene.
Yeah, I did, but I got to admit, Dragon, this scene just got a visceral reaction from me. I mean,
me too.
It really did. I was, I was ready to.
That's what I'm saying, because I know the Pinkman thing. Oh God, I've seen this scene before. This is not going to end well.
Right, exactly.
So Nacho has no idea what's going on. Like, why? What are you doing? I did what you said. I just love how panicked Michael Mandow is in the scene, and then Victor's in the car, and basically he's begging Victor not to go low. He's grabbing at Victor, even though it's kind of a stupid move. It's like, because obviously you don't want to put your hands on Victor, unless you're Gus Fring. Unless you're Gus Fring, it's going to work out all right. Anyway. So, he begs Victor not to go. It's a really tense moment. So Victor goes in, and it's just you see this desperate Nacho being held back, and by the muscle in the back, and he's begging.
I thought sure we were going to see Papa get killed, Dragon.
Yes, poor Mr. Varga.
I thought for sure we were going to see Papa Varga get killed.
So Victor enters as a customer with a gun under his coat that we see he's clocking, his click back and everything. He's ready to do some damage. He's Tyrus has 5 people in there, so he's getting ready to fire off 5 shots. And it's like, oh god. So Victor's in there. Basically, under the guys getting a soda or something in the place. So Gus Fring, and this is where things really get dialed up. So Gus Fring enters the car, and one of my favorite directorial bits in the whole episode. He turns the mirror, so you just see Gus Fring is staring down.
Yes, absolutely.
Gus doesn't even have to turn around. He's just looking at him through the mirror. He's oh god, it's that Belafonte thing. When he moves, it's a big deal.
Sure.
So basically, Gus is making a point for Nacho to get this done. Whatever he's about to ask him, you're going to get this done, or else. And this, you remember how psychologically twisted this is, because Gus Fring, he's been in this position where you'll do something terrible. You'll take away someone's loved one, just to prove a point. That you're still going to be in business with him. Again, that's what shaped Gus Fring in the first place, and he's doing this damage onto other people, which is really twisted when you think about it.
Oh yeah.
It's what happens.
Gus basically just tells him that he needs information on Lalo. You know, what he's doing, what he's thinking, where he's going, what he's planning. I need to know what he's going to do before he does it.
But of course, he says, get him to trust you. Basically, he says he doesn't trust me. He says, well, you have to convince him. You're gonna have to do that. Get him to trust you, and Nacho definitely make sure the message is like, yes, I'll get him to trust me. And I do wonder, though, of course, Gus Fring famously, he sees things in people, and I wonder if in some way if he sees a bit of himself in Nacho, like he saw a little bit of himself in Jesse Pinkman, especially again just with how eerily similar this situation is to Gus and Max at the pool. I wonder if again it's basically Gus Fring is in the Don Eladio space where he sees himself as basically begging for Max's life in that pool sequence. I wonder if he sees a little bit of that Nacho, like when he says think about it, when he says, my father has nothing to do with this, just like Gus Fring begged for Max's life, then Gus Fring turns.
I love the turn, like you were saying with the Direction Dragon. The turn is just bone chilling.
Again, I can't help
it tells you everything that you need to know.
I can't help wonder if that turn is like that emotionally maybe hit Fring a little bit, and that's why he's giving him advice here. You'll find it looks at him, but doesn't even say a word, and then not just, I'll find a way. I'll get him to trust me.
Oh God, yeah.
Fring leaves. Victor enters, and Pop's a nice guy. Oh God! So harrowing sequence, tense as all get. How is it? You're thinking, how can it get any tenser than that Gene scene?
I would wager to say that out of the first 2 hours, that was probably the most tense moment of the first 2 hours. Would you say so?
I would.
All right. Okay, so we back to Jimmy and Kim and their ever evolving tense living situation. Oh,
another great transition. Nacho is very much squeezed between two parties, and Kim Wexler, her closet space is squeezed out by Saul Goodman in his suits. I thought the suit thing was one of the great metaphors of the episode, where Kim's closet space is being taken over by Saul. I love the fact, I just love the hilarious mundane detail that because Saul Goodman has so many suits, he would take up all of Kim Wexler's closet space if they're living together. I love that idea. It does.
Because when you think about it, Kim really only has the one style. She's got like the blue blazer. That's about it.
And a few variations, like the idea, and I love this. I don't want to look. We don't have all the time to get into it because we mentioned this before. Jennifer Bryan,
the podcast.
Seriously, Jennifer Bryan does all the wardrobe for all the Albuquerque verse stuff. She always puts in so much great logic into the wardrobe that we don't have time to get in all the brilliance of it. The point being, like, Kim buys off the rack, so she wears a suit that basically she's very she's not splurging on suits. That's the point. Like she buys. Like she constructed that suit. She didn't buy a full piece suit, Anyway, so the point being, Kim is being squeezed out by Saul Goodman. Metaphor for the relationship right now, obviously, that she's overwhelmed by all of Saul Goodman as he's ironing while he's on the phone doing business.
He's mentioning we got a verbal cameo by Mrs. Wynn.
This is no Wynn. Well, we mentioned her. We name dropped her. This is basically
that's what I'm saying. Verbal cameo, name drop. Yeah.
I love that. Jimmy again. He's being and this is the thing. Kim again. This seems like you're writing on the wall. Kim, this is a bad. This relationship's taking an unlikely turn. But again, then Jimmy's being really nice about it, saying, you know what, Kim, I'm going to take these suits. I see I'm taking up too much of your space here. I'm going to take a lot of these suits to Mrs. Nguyen's, to the nail salon, which, again, he's being courteous here. Now, importantly, I love this is a great subtle thing here. He's dropping his phone all throughout this sequence. And, of course, this is going to lead to the Bluetooth later because, again, he can't multitask like he needs to. Of course, he's going to need to find a way to go hands-free, which is going to bring a solution a la Ken Wins.
Oh, God. Right. All right, so he asks how's it going with Coldfinger.
That's a good joke. So
it's a good joke, but of course, very much in poor taste given how we ended off last episode.
And I love in this scene, I love how this is staged, by the way, that Kim's looking in a mirror talking with him. Kind of, again, a little similar to the Gus Fring bit, for just in essence, in the whole mirror, it's kind of a mirrored conversation. But anyway, no, there's a little fun little thing I just noticed. Anyway, So Kim exposits, I took the deal, and then Jimmy's saying, "Oh, you were right as usual." And again, it's a little devilish, this scene with that mirror thing too. It's a little devilish that again Jimmy doesn't fully know, but he's saying things that he doesn't know are really hurting Kim's feelings right
Yeah,
now.
he has no idea how much damage. And of course, Dragon, we need to lay the groundwork once again for the whole the telltale of it all, the small choices that lead to dramatic consequences. Because I feel like we've got a lot of them, but that one with Jimmy at the end of episode 1, that's probably the most significant one so far. Where Jimmy just in the moment, because he was in Saul Goodman mode still, he's like, "Hey, let's run this scheme," and no, it was not cool.
But I love how visually with the way this is staged, like we're in Kim Wexler's head right now, as like the way he's speaking right now, this is like what her memory is echoing essentially for us right now. I just thought that was so well composed. So Jimmy's proposing, hey, what about Scamps and Scampy and Scorsese tonight? Be like a little movie date.
And I love how Kim doesn't just like instantly, like, she kind of writes it off. She's like, "Oh, we'll see. I have to stay late," but she's like, "Oh, I do like that movie." It's like she's not instantly right. She's not like, "No, I have to go. Forget it."
I want these two kids to end together so bad, but right now I'm just like, but
Dragon, the only way these two kids are going to get together is through my scenario where Kim is the sad housewife. So you don't want these kids to get together. I'm rooting for Kim's happiness personally, and Kim's happiness is not with Jimmy.
I gotta tell you, I love that Vince Gilligan is in our shoes on this one, because every time on the Inside Podcast, Vince Gilligan is just going like, he wants them to end up together, but he basically just echoed, like, he's saying, "This is such
There's
great
no way for them to end up together and for Kim to be happy being with him."
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Because Gilligan is saying, like, Kim Wexler should be with a better person, but then again, he loves the chemistry they have together, so that's the front. Anyway, I just love the fact that Gilligan's a fan of it like us. It's awesome.
Right.
He has no idea how it's going to end. Only Peter Gould knows how it's going to end. Anyway, so even he doesn't fully know. It's a discovery along the way. Anyway, so Jimmy importantly, this is a really great thing on the rewatch, that Jimmy senses that as he gets back to the phone, Jimmy senses that something is amiss with Kim as she leaves. So again, that she leaves, again, Jimmy quickly probably puts on like a hoodie or something. He runs in. Before Kim leaves, he hops in her car and is like, "Jimmy, what are you doing?" So Jimmy asks Kim to make a stop on her way. Let's just be a few minutes. He wants to show her something. So basically, their own little mini road trip. So it's the season of road trips, folks. City of little field trip bus stops.
I'm just reminded of Lalo. Like, if Lalo were to just like, Lalo's on an important mission. It's like, "Oh, look, an open house. Let's go to the open house because I like learning things."
Here's the crossover we need. No, Hank meets Lalo. That's the crossover we need.
Oh God. Yes. Oh,
okay, anyway,
man.
Barry references aside, getting back to the point. So, Peter Gould had a really excellent observation here. He says, like, Jimmy's go-to romantic gesture is real estate. And he's absolutely right. Jimmy's go-to romantic gesture is real estate. He's always trying to go for the office move. It's like, hey, let's see, he showed her the office in the first season. In the second season, they were looking for the dentist, for the dentist office together. And now, yet again, like, they're kind of stopping at this giant, really beautiful, but oversized house, man. Really nice. More space than they'll ever use in their life. But
I love the visual metaphor, of course, the obvious but very effective visual metaphor of, we've seen 4 seasons of these two in that apartment, and, of course, them using the sink and, just all the cramped quarters, but very cozy, lovingly cramped quarters. And then this is such a great kind of stark contrast of, like, there's some moments in here that are heartbreaking. Let's get into it.
And a symbol for the divide that they're going to be.
Absolutely.
So one, they're not buying. Kim's saying, "We're not buying a house." And again, Jimmy always wants to share a roof under their head together. Not like Paul Wexler McGill. He wants to be Wexler and McGill. Darn it. So anyway, it's like, we're not buying a house. Well, not today. Would it hurt to look? Again, I love Jimmy's "not today." That's the Jimmy McGill coming out. Like, not today, but So Jimmy has 45 clients. He's very optimistic over his future with Kim Wexler. We're both doing good. Maybe we could buy a house at some point. So, they go in there. They avoid signing in because obviously they want to kind of give this realtor lady the kind of the hope that, oh man, maybe they're actually going to buy it. And I give them the whole sales pitch. Like, we'll sign on the way out.
Right.
Huge space, too big for him. But again, this is Saul
You know
Goodman
what would have
dream.
been fun, Dragon? You know what would have been fun?
What?
Is if we would have crossed this over with the lady from Open House.
I know. I thought of that too. We have seen her before.
I
We've
mean,
seen Saul.
famously, my favorite episode of Breaking Bad.
Yes, famously.
It's what I, for the record, it's what I cite as like, well, it's not terrible, but if I had to cite a least favorite episode of Breaking Bad, it'd probably be Open House. Anyways,
Yet another height of the whole Marie.
although you never know, with Hank coming into the picture, we might they might kind of be like, let's rewrite Open House. Let's give us a newfound appreciation for that Marie shoplifting.
I gotta be honest, Tiki. While we were doing this scene, for a moment was on the edge of my seat, wondering, "Oh God, is Marie gonna show up?"
Right.
But then I kind of stopped and I realized, oh wait, the place isn't open to all the guests yet. That's probably wouldn't be there. But again, when I saw that realtor wasn't the same lady, well, of course it couldn't be the same lady. It was going to be Marie. The point being, anyway. Anyway, but here's the thing. I love that it's with this house in particular. I love that it's Saul Goodman dreaming on the ground floor. I like to call it. It's like dreaming big on the ground floor.
Sure. That's a good way to. That's an apt metaphor, Dragon.
All right, so he's like looking. Okay, I'm predicting plasma screens and big old movie nights. Blue quartz, the healing countertop. Jimmy tells her about the whole. Now this is very pivotal, man. I had a big prediction about this. Not like a big speculatory prediction, but kind of a thematic prediction. So, Jimmy tells her about the whole 50% off thing that he told her he wasn't going to do, but ended up doing.
Yes.
He apologizes and assures her that, it was a bonehead move, not going to happen again. And I love Ray Seahorn. She does so much with so little sometimes, saying, okay. And I love the restrained okay. It's like just the acceptance of that. And I love it's like kind of part one of the scene. But here's the haunting question I'm going to pose to you, Tiki. Does Saul Goodman feel that he has to sell and con Kim Wexler into a relationship with these gestures as an act of manipulation of keeping Kim around? Basically, he's easing Kim into the bad news of like this whole 50% thing. That's the thing. There's the question though. Where Jim McGill would do these.
Honestly, I don't even think that's subtext. I think it's just text at this point.
But it is rather haunting though. The fact that
it is. Yeah.
It's the fact that Jim McGill just can't we know he gets there and he has in the past where he'll do these gestures, but it's not like as an act of manipulation. But again, it's like it would just kind of come out that way sometimes, where in this case it's fully like, I think subconsciously Saul Goodman is absolutely doing, he's conning Kim Wexler and sticking around in the relationship, which is kind of sad when you think about it. It's like, basically it's like Jimmy, basically unknowingly Jimmy is emotionally scamming Kim Wexler, which for their whole relationship is the ultimate betrayal. And once that fact I feel is made obvious, that'll be that could be the crumbling of the relationship. If she calls him out on that'll be game over.
All right.
So Kim, when they're exploring the house, Kim draws a very specific line. What is that line?
The line, of course, is that she doesn't want to lie to her clients, which is of course the dramatic cliffhanger we had at the end of last episode.
And Jimmy says, "Hey, the fridge guy know all my clients." All right, never again. And Jimmy saying never again. I'm sure a little bit of foreshadow there for stuff that's going to follow.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, because Jimmy is just running around the courthouse just making an ass of himself on a daily basis at this point. So
Absolutely. That's the thing. I love that again. Like, this is where Kim is just trying to redefine, okay, I stepped over a line. I'm going to reform the line. So basically, I want to make this work with him in the Saul Goodman character, but this is where the line has to be. If we break this line, we can't maintain this.
Sure.
She's making as good an effort as any good woman has ever made in this life, man. She's like I'm gonna make this work. We're getting just like the anti-Skylar in all the wonderful ways we love her.
Oh my God, absolutely. In Dragon, it's like I've heard some people are like worried that once she turns against Jimmy, that the fan base is going to turn against her.
Never in a million years will that happen.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I think that I think they've really put in the legwork to.
All right, so then we explore the closet of Saul Goodman's dreams.
The closet of Saul Goodman's dreams, not Kim's dreams. Saul Goodman's dreams, your dreams.
But Jimmy makes the point, our dreams, with the whole Louis Vuitton.
Okay, Dragon, that is probably the most heartbreaking moment of the whole scene for me. Is the whole our dream, my dream thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very subtle, but it just breaks me, honestly.
It is. So then we're in the bathroom with the two sinks and the split mirror. Again, the split mirror is kind of a dual reference, something stupid with all the split screens and everything. And again, we're giving them too much space, so they don't really have to be in each other's worlds anymore. And of course, the dichotomy of Jimmy from Saul Goodman, very much well visualized with that whole split mirror thing. Then we have again, if you needed like okay, we've been a little like okay, we're drawing our lines and everything. This is serious relationship stuff, but you know we got to remember why we love these two kids in the first place. So we got to give them some
Shower
playful,
hijinks.
yeah, some playful shower hijinks. It's a romantic comedy, folks. After all, so, oh, yeah, it's basically looking like all the it's a fancy giant indoor shower, all the funny fancy buttons, and then Kim just sees okay, I can mess with them here, and I have to be somewhere, but him. Not so much today. So basically,
Yeah.
he wears his fancy lawyer suit. Yes, basically she squirted. She turns the shower on him. I love Kim Racy, or I love her like a playful schoolgirl giggle right now. Like she's just, it's like she's just being sprayed, like avoiding being sprayed by the water. It's adorable as all get out. The two of them are they're walking out, and we have the grumpy realtors like you guys, you weren't interested in this house. But again, maybe someday, he says. Kim says maybe someday, which again fills Jimmy full of hope. And it's the best thing you could ever hear today. Starting his morning off right. A little coffee and a little happy Kim Wexler. That's Jimmy's day.
Right.
Okay.
So we're back with Lalo. Lalo's paying a little visit to his Tio.
Yes. What have you done to my Tio?
And this is the first time that we've seen Hector since he's been gifted the bell.
So the staff, they're asking Lalo to give Hector his basically his vitamin-enriched, very, very fizzy K.
That just sounds like the most gross thing in the world, does it not?
It does. But here's the thing: I love the guy is like I love the staff are trying to be as pleasant as they can. It's his favorite, very berry.
Isn't that
Or
right?
Hector Salamanca, he wants to punch that guy in the face. Anyway, so basically, Lalo, just sensing this, he infuses it with a lot of booze from a little flask. Just kind of pours it on in there. Which again, for the Salamancas, I love like the lovely gestures amongst the Salamanca family. Where again, it's like as unhealthy for Hector's probably. He's like gives him a lot of booze. Like here you go, here you go. It's like I love that Lalo does truly love his uncle here. He's boozing him up. He's trying to uplift his spirits up as much as he can. The idea is he's bouncing his spring suspicions off on Hector, as you kind of mentioned he had done the last episodes. We're getting to see that in motion here.
Right.
Short of it is, Hector
and
gives
it's great that Lalo, we're kind of seeing the weaponization of that bell dragon. We're seeing the origins of that.
I love that the bell is like a bat. It's like a light bulb sound. So Hector gives Lalo the idea of the bell, like the ding. That he's running through what we talked with Bolsa about last episode. That okay, the thing that Bolsa said was really big detail. Bolsa said last time is that as long as Fring is bringing in money, he's protected. The money means Fring is protected. So stop that. It's goodbye, Mr. Fring.
Oh yeah, Dragon. You know why?
Why?
Because Fring's got to have money.
I think it's because Don Eladio has. Have money.
You're right. Because Eladio's got to have money.
Yes.
Sorry, lame joke, lame reference. Moving on.
Anyway, so let's see. So yet again, we have like the end gag here, and a really great transitional gag too, where he tries to drink some of the very bare stuff. Oh, how do you do this? It's gross.
Oh, Tio, gross, Tio.
He pours more in, and then we transition to Mike after a night of hard drinking.
And Dragon, we love Mike.
We do. We do.
What a coincidence! Oh my god.
Yes.
So Dragon, Mike is a Pabst Blue Ribbon man.
He is indeed.
Much like Dennis Hopper and Blue Velvet.
You know what's funny? Jonathan Banks has mentioned, because he always drinks the Pabst, man. In this show, he's always done absolutely. He always has it in the fridge every time you see it in Breaking Bad, and he's always
Yeah.
they've never once sent him a case of beer. They've never done it for him. Which is sad. Jonathan Banks has playfully said, those MF, those mother, they've never sent me.
Yeah, we're promoting them all the time. The least they could do is throw us a bone. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. So while Mike, I think Mike needs a little pick me up, Tiki. You know what we should do for Mike right now?
We should commemorate him and make him into chocolate.
Sure. Yes.
That sounded a lot weirder than it meant to.
Yeah,
but I digress.
Okay, the point is we should express our love in a way because we adore not only Mike Ehrmantraub, we adore the man, the myth, the legend that is Jonathan Banks, man. So we'd like to do this in a special way each season on Better Call Saul, kind of earmark it each way. And in this case, we're going because said Better Call Saul came back in the month of February. Big old box of chocolates because you never know what you're going to get. And you never know what you're going to get with a Mike moment within this big old heart-shaped box of chocolates. You're going to kind of a full I Love Lucy with We Love Mike. Anyway.
Are you rushing or are you dragging?
Okay,
that's what I like to call a reference inside of a reference.
No, but seriously, so one is we adore Mike here, and just to talk about Mike in this episode. So Mike, our hearts go out to Mike this episode. If we're going to use the heart thing to springboard something, or seriously, my heart went out to Mike so much this episode because his heart is breaking this whole season so far.
This is a tough season for Mike, man. It really is.
Again, Mike had to kill his friend. He hasn't. Again, it's been a long time since he's never killed an innocent person. Just to keep it simple, he's never killed an innocent person. It's the first time he's ever done it, and he's feeling horrible about it. So, Mike is drowning his sorrows at home. There's like a lot of self-loathing he's been feeling lately, and he's just basically waking up. And again, kind of alcohol transition there is quite nice. So he gets a phone call that wakes him up, and who calls?
It's Stacy.
Good old Stacy Ehrmantraub.
Yeah, calling about, of course, she got called into work. No babysitters are available. And Mike, you gotta love Mike. That's why we're doing this whole ridiculous I Love Lucy shit trick. You gotta love Mike. Because even though he's hungover and depressed, he doesn't even give it a second thought. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll be right over there.
When do you need me over? Now? I'm on my way over. He's still probably hungover and everything. He's just like, okay, yeah,
right.
There, no question. And here's something tragic I call on the rewatch. This broke my heart on the rewatch. I didn't catch this the first time. It was, you're a lifesaver, Pop, or like you're a lifesaver, Mike, or whichever. She's the point being, you're a lifesaver. And of course, the opposite of what she was last season. He did not save a life. He took a life.
Oh God, right.
It broke my heart on the rewatch. Like, and then it's like, it's terrible. So basically, he shows up, a nice little cut there. He shows up at the house. He plans on fixing the ladder. I love he comes with these little bonding activities with Kaylee all the time. It's adorable. It comes like, I figured, again, it's not just he's fixing the ladder. It's like we're fixing the ladder. It's a little activity. Like,
and Dragon, might I just say that I love that ladders are kind of like a symbol of doom in this episode.
Yeah, they are.
You don't want to be caught on a ladder or building a ladder or having anything to do with a ladder in this episode.
I gotta be honest, I feel so stupid right now. I did not make the connection because I love it now that you brought it up, though. I love it. Yeah. Yes. Ladders were the symbol of doom. Brilliant. Gotta give the points on that. Okay. So, plans on fixing the ladder on the tree house, but Kaylee, before they have their little fun bonding time, Kaylee needs to finish her homework because she's on her times tables and she's having a little trouble with the sevens. It would have been funnier if it were the eights, I guess.
This. Because, like, with sevens, Dragon, most of the times tables, there's some sort of pattern to it, right? But 7, it's like, okay, 21, that's an odd number, and then it goes into 28, which is an even number. I don't like it. I agree with you, Kaylee. 7s are the worst.
That's probably the logical reason they went with 7. A part of me thinks it'd be even funnier if it were the 8s for the other payoff we have this episode. But you're right. The 7s are difficult. That's absolutely why it's the 7. So Mike helps her out by essentially relating it to. Remember, I just love the cut here. It says, You remember when we watched the Super Bowl? That's all you need to know. Like, okay, it's going to relate it to sports. So basically, while they're multitasking, you're in good. Mike, being kind of the old softy that he is, like, okay, we're going to fix the ladder, and I'm gonna help her with,
Yeah, right.
on the side there, and I can relate to that with my own grandfather. Can help me with math. Bear in mind, did not. Math is still not my strong suit. I'll say that much. But
It's not mine either. Math is the reason I have not finished college, Dragon. I hate math.
Well, now we're okay. Point being, it's just the point being, the effort was appreciated. It was a grandfatherly thing. Is my point. Anywho, so we know. Oh, I had this wonderful bit here where Mike says, "I think you know more." He says, "Oh, they're so hard, Papa." Says, I think you know more than you think. And by the way, this is the third Kaylee we've had in Better Call Saul. Do you know that?
Is it really? I'm not surprised.
So there was the first Kaylee in the first season, then they recast. Basically, the following 3 seasons were the same girl, and now we have a new one, because basically they keep aging out. They have to get a new one.
I mean, it makes sense. It really does.
But again, it's seamless, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Anyway, so
and honestly, Dragon, this might be one of my favorite Kaylee scenes.
You mean up to the heartbreaking part, or do you mean including the heartbreaking part?
I mean including the heartbreaking part, because up to the heartbreaking part, it's adorable, and then the heartbreaking part is just like the most pathos we've ever had in a Kaylee scene.
You're absolutely right. So it's a brilliant scene, no question. So we have so we have this the adorable kind of ladder and times table.
Kick ass.
Who taught you to talk? Who taught you to talk like that? You don't talk like that. You did. It's like, oh, right. And of course, there's a fun little meta thing here. Jonathan Banks says they have a swear jar rule on set where basically anytime Jonathan Banks curses in front of the kids, he has to give them $1, and he does. So he still does it. Like the parents say, no, don't give her $1. No, I have to give her $1. It's a rule on set with all the Kayleys.
Oh God.
Jonathan Banks swears like a sailor, and he does. We love him for it. Anyway, So Kaylee is basically, like she's getting the time skills, basically relating it to like making touchdowns, like a 7-pointer sort of thing. I know nothing of sports. I'm going to assume that's the case. Anyway,
I believe you get 7 points. No, you get 6 points for a touchdown, and then 1 point for the the kick.
There you go, something like that.
Something like that.
Let's just go. Yeah. Anyway, so 7 times 8, not 55. You thought you missed the bit you just mentioned right there. 56. Okay, there we go. Now we got it right. So Kaylee is then asking about her father, which again, completely natural thing. Again, she would say, was my father good at? Was my dad good at math? Says, oh yeah, he was good at math. Yeah. Did he like the Eagles? Oh yeah, he liked the Eagles. And then we have this wonderful Tiki, my heart melts. Like if we didn't have a category for Jonathan Banks, we would have invented it for this episode. We do a wonderful 5-0 kind of callback in the performance. So Jonathan Banks hasn't, hasn't been delivering, but I mean, this is like pulling from that emotional well from 5-0. That was the Emmy performance for Jonathan Banks that year, and he dips into it again. You hear like how emotionally caught up he is in these responses, and so oh God, I love how natural it is here, where she's asking these really painful questions for him. Like, you like the Eagles? He was a good. He starts off nice, like in control. Like, your daddy was a good student. And did he always want to be a police officer? Well, he went back and forth between astronaut and deep sea diver like Jacques Cousteau. Who's Jacques Cousteau? You don't know who Jacques Cousteau is? We're gonna fix that. It's adorable. And then things take a turn. She says, he was a policeman like you, and he's like, okay, steer away, Kaylee. Kaylee says, you don't know what he's been through lately. Kaylee, stop. So.
All right, I'm on the show. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
Policeman is like, he was a policeman like you. Yeah, it was nice. He was a nice. Keep it nice and even. Of course, like instructing her how to keep the ladder and everything. Says, good. He was good like you. He says, yeah, he's good like me. It's just like and you taught him everything. And now things are just getting like, oh God, yes, your heart's starting to melt here. Which is, it's. And the bad guy's got him, right? And of course, Mike blames himself entirely as he's the bad guy who got his own son, and he feels
right.
And then basically, this is where Mike loses it right now, because now Mike's been pushed so much, he's thinking about ruining everything right now, and his own son, who he blames himself for. Everyone's all swollen.
You're done, kid. You are done.
I told you to make those even. But they're even. Says, no, they're not. You're making a mess. You're done. And oh God, this is the This is the first time this has ever happened. The first time
Uh-huh.
shout at the poor girl. Oh my goodness! At least the first time we've seen it. And it says she runs off scared, and it's just the quote Norma Bates. It's so sad.
Quite simply, yes.
You know how sad this is? I have to break glass in a heartwarming Jonathan Banks moment. It's that sad. Okay.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay. Tom Schnauz, he got sick during the production of Better Call Saul, and famously, Jonathan Banks is always kind of wonderfully crotchety with a few of the people on Better Call Saul, and they love him for it. Especially with Tom Schnauz, who we gave the fun nickname, the Little Prince. So he always kind of playfully calls him, and basically people in the position, the Little Prince, but Tom Schnauz was the first, and like the most often. Anyway, so Tom Schnauz got sick, and he wasn't around. Of course, Jonathan Banks visited him in the hospital, and he wrote a children's book called The Little Prince.
Yes, very famous children's book. It's referenced in My Dinner with Andre.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So I think that seriously, just that we're not glowing over it. I mean, that was some heartbreaking stuff. Yep. Just excellent Emmy stuff for Jonathan Banks right there. So Stacy returns. Just Mike on his way. It doesn't even stop. He says she's in her room. She wouldn't come out. She hasn't had dinner yet. And says, "What happened, Mike? What happened?"
Yeah, so really harsh stuff for Mike. Man, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Love the lingering regret shot on Mike. Then we get to, oh God, so we go from the car scene to another car scene with Sticky and Ron. So a little bit of levity after all that heavy Mike stuff.
God. We're going to go with 10 this time.
So we wonderfully set up how this whole like the Fifth Street kind of operation goes. You go to the guy, he directs you to the rain gutter, and the product is dropped down the rain gutter. Pretty simple. A little bit low rent, but pretty simple. So the problem with that system is, what if something happens to the rain gutter? So
what if there's a clog? As rain gutters tend to do.
So Mouse drops the product down there, and of course, hey, no cookie. And these two idiots they love
that, by the way. I love that little detail of no cookie, that they have a code word for it.
So these idiots they're making like an argument, get into like a very loud argument with it, like, you shut up, you shut up. They're all idiots.
No, you shut up. Don't make me come down there.
Yeah. Anyway. So meanwhile, we have the old poker game going. Lalo and Company, they're having an actual poker game here. We have Domingo, and by the way, we have a name on the earring guy. You know what the funny name on the earring guy is?
What?
Blingy.
Blingy?
Because
really?
He wears all the bling. At least that's what they called him. I haven't seen him
clarify that. I got that.
I haven't seen him credited as such, but that's what they're calling him. Everyone's calling him Blingy.
I assume you got that from the podcast.
Yeah, I had no idea. They apparently they named him Blingy, and as far as I can find, it seems to be true. It probably is a real name.
All right, so Dragon, you know how much I love a good poker scene, so this is great. We get the origins of the Crazy 8 nickname.
This is great.
All right, so Dragon, fun fact, I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, but did you know that, like, mathematically, like, statistically, a 7-deuce offsuit is the worst poker hand you can get?
I did not know this.
Yes, because it's the lowest, it's the lowest two cards that would not be a straight. It's not possible to make a straight out of a 7 and a deuce. And, it's not a pair, there's nothing, and it's offsuit. There's just nothing you can do with a 7-deuce offsuit.
All right, so essentially...
Fun fact, whenever you see a 7-deuce offsuit in a poker game, that's why.
Gotcha. So, we have the birth of the Crazy 8 name, and honestly, there's kind of Crazy 8 in general here, where we have this... where basically Lavo points out it's crazy for him to be folding at that bad hand, basically folding at the river here, which, by the way, a little Season 1 nod to the river titles, the whole Cats in the River bags and the whole thing of it all, I'd like to think. A little subtle nod to the season. Again, obviously, Crazy 8 plays a very pivotal role in all of Breaking Bad when you really think about it.
He does.
He's in the episode that hooks everybody, I would argue. He's in the third episode. Well, he's obviously in the first 3 episodes, technically, but the third episode, obviously, that's the huge one for him. So, the point being, he was given the name, Ocho Loco, which of course translates to Crazy 8, man, because he had the double 8s. All right, so he gets a call, and essentially the Fifth Street crew.
Dragon, triple 8s.
All right. Well, you know what I mean. You had triple. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just to
No, you're right. You're
clarify,
right.
I'm a pope.
You're the poker guy. I got it. I'm the blackjack guy. You're the poker guy. We got it. Anyway, so the Fifth Street crew, or Domingo's crew, so it's his responsibility. So basically, he's almost like the drug. He's almost like the drug dealer's super. That's kind of what he is.
He really is, man. He really is.
I love the mundanity that all these dealers. Basically, the idea is the Salamancas run the thing. They kind of all the people they kind of like have in the business, like your Domingos. They are like Domingo and probably Blingy. I'm not sure if Blingy because Blingy was delivering he's bringing the cash. Blingy probably runs his own corner, I guess. The point being, people have their own territories within the Albuquerque area. I like that idea. Okay. So the idiot duo.
White very insistent about the territory thing.
Right. So
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the idiot duo. Just to paint the picture, the idiot duo have a very suspicious-looking bright vehicle that is blazing this music in a neighborhood. And everybody's gathered in an alley with a guy on a ladder, which is Domingo, basically trying to fix the gutter, trying to unclog the gutter here. And these idiots just like, maybe we should shoot it off. Yeah, no, you idiots don't shoot them. And then like Sticky's starting to rap, and you're like, oh, just idiots. So then all of this commotion.
It's like Dragon quote Star Wars. It's like an idiot's array.
Yes.
It's like an array of idiots. It's just like the idiot parade.
And another card game parallel.
Exactly.
That's the hand
there you go.
Without kids, the idiot's array.
Right. I'm pretty freaking tricky, gonna kick you in the thicky.
What does that even mean?
Who knows, Dragon? Who knows?
I'm not asking you. I'm saying that's what she said, but you get it. You got it.
Oh, I know. And I'm along with you.
You're right.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, all of this commotion, raps and music and lights and people gathered in alleys draws the attention of the 5-0, let's call it, draws the attention of the cops, the old Albuquerque PD. They're stopping by. Everybody flees except poor Domingo, poor Crazy 8 stuck on the ladder. Yeah. And I love his performance here so much. Where he plays it cool. He plays it he's cool.
He does. He totally does.
Calm, cool, and collected. I love that Domingo and Nacho are in before Domingo. I want to say before the Crazy 8 title got to Domingo's head, he was very much in the Nacho space. Before he was kind of a wannabe Tuco. You know, before he got to that space, he was playing it cool and smart. Where the cops go by and say, "Hey, what's going on here?" He says, "Oh yeah, just fixing the old rain gutter," and then basically it's just kind of taps it, just like jokingly, "Oh yeah, just trying to fix the old rain gutter."
Dragging it just to get like super meta about this whole Telltale thing. If he doesn't do that little tap, maybe he gets off the hook.
Possibly.
Little choices, Dragon. Tiny choices.
We have this spun bit here with the guy saying, "Well, it looks like Young Claude." It's great. And just the look on Domingo's face, a little smile on Domingo's face, like, it's like he's trying to laugh it off, like, "Oh, I'm in trouble."
Right. All right, so Dragon, we have. I got to admit, I'm not crazy about this scene. I'm not. There's two scenes in this episode that I'm not crazy about. This is one of them.
You mean this whole sequence you're not crazy about?
I'm not crazy about it. I think it kind of, I like it in theory. I think it does a good job plot-wise of, making Lalo trust Nacho more. I guess specifically, well, let's set it up, and then I'll tell you specifically the moment that kind of goes a little overboard for me.
Okay, so the crew's held up in the car. They're observing the bust from the outside. Basically, the block's crawling with cops, we learn. They had to leave the product, which essentially is almost a full load, so probably like 8 key, maybe 2, just given what happened last episode. At least 1 to 2 keys of product, a little under that, which is not good. They're going to lose all that product. Nacho has his big moment here, where he's going to earn Lalo's trust. So Nacho goes out, and we have this running commentary from the sidelines from Lalo saying, "What is he doing?" As Nacho performs his Spider-Man-esque antics, which I love that we set up, by the way. The whole Salamanca affair in season 3, he did do like kind of the parkour jump to get on the taco place's roof. So we set
yeah, you know what? I forgot about that. You know what did bother me is the rooftop leap. I thought the rooftop leap was a bit of a stretch, but
really?
Yeah.
and we set it up.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot how we set it up, but you're right. It is in there. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Point being, so the point we're getting this running commentary on the sidelines from Lalo, just reacting to it really well. I like how we're shooting this, by the way. Just we're seeing him jump in full view without like getting any fancy rooftop shots. It's kind of a nice way of kind of economizing that and just having Lalo involved in the affair. So basically, he jumps to the other roof. It's a race inside because basically the narcos, the narcotics division, they're about like a narcotics SWAT team essentially. They're about to search the place and kind of scour the place. Basically, it's a race against time. It's Nacho has to get inside and get to the chair where all the products stored before they get up the stairs and burst through the locked doors. So that's as much. He has very little time. So basically, Nacho grabs the product. He's cornered. I love what we do with the lighting here. It's like really dark, and I love that dingy dark set because it was such a. They've also assured everybody on the inside place, it's a much nicer place. They made it look terrible just for the show. It is a far nicer place because I was telling you that last episode. It just. The place looks like it's like Tuca's place with all the style taken out. It's just like a empty, just kind of like they really couldn't brighten up with a few more chairs or something.
Right.
Anyway, point being, Nacho's out of time. He's cornered, so he does his last minute leap through the boarded up window just in the nick of time by the skin of his teeth. Then we have kind of a bat entrance for Nacho here almost.
Oh, it is. It's great.
Where Lalo's saying, "Wait, where is he? Did he get out? He's gone, or he's never going." Of course, mid-sentence, Nacho gets in the passenger seat and he presents Lalo with all the product. And what does Lalo say, Tiki?
Oh shoot! I'm sorry, Drake. I don't have the exact line on me.
Essentially, he says, "Ignacio Varga, you are BA. You're a bad mamma jamma, let's call it. He's a bad guy." Very impressed. Anyway, so we're outside the courtroom right now. Saul Goodman is preparing. Basically, he's preparing a slipping Jimmy.
We have something in common. Hey, I think we have something in common.
Then we create kind of the 70s West Wing-esque kind of walk and talk shot here. It's not a oneer, but it feels like it was only
Sorkin walk and talk, Dragon. The Sorkin walk and talk.
Okay, that's the better way of putting it.
Gotta give proper credit its due.
All right, doing the Sorkin walk and talk. So basically, he's walking with DDA Bill Oakley, our old the vending machine.
Oh God! All right, so Bill Oakley, man, I love this guy. I really do. I love how even after the little stunt that Saul pulled, which I do think is foreshadowing for darker stuff to come with the courtroom stuff, but Oakley is still just kind of like, yeah, you're going around like Saul Goodman. It's like he doesn't hate Saul by any means.
No,
you know what I mean? He's kind of like putting up with it. Yeah.
Because you got to remember, they always have had
silly for the top, but.
Yeah, you gotta remember, they've always had somewhat of an adversarial relationship because that's kind of what their roles are. They have to negotiate. Therefore, one of them had, again, hence the adversarial process. So I think basically Bill Oakley has a line of like how much BS he's willing to tolerate. Because basically the thing is they've been growing. They became friends over time. Like they intermingled. And he would give them like lunch sometimes, and they were a little bit friendlier. And I think now the friendliness is slowly draining out of the relationship. It's not a hatred yet. It's not like a, oh God, him yet. Like that's where we're going with all this. Like by the time Breaking Bad comes around, it's gonna be like, oh God, not Goodman.
I'm fully convinced by the time the season's over that Jimmy is not going to be welcome in this courthouse.
Absolutely. Like right now,
I mean, he is quickly going the burning the bridges route.
Like right now, it's the whole like, oh, am I on candid camera again? That whole no, but you looked great. So again, he's still he's somewhat charming. He's like, okay, well, Jimmy's just he's in a phase right now, fine, but he's going with it. So basically, you're trying to like the whole featherweight versus raging bull thing for like the leader case. You kind of a little haggling there, and basically Jimmy is making his rounds right now. Saul Goodman is making the rounds, and it just feels like I love the energy here. It's like this is like Saul Goodman in his prime, essentially, is what we're doing right now.
I kind of got like a Princess Carolyn energy to the scene almost.
Yes, that's a better way of putting it. Yes, so he's chatting up Hannah Banana on the side there, like I believe, like if she's either one of the secretaries, basically scheduling the judges.
The scene is the over-the-top tongue twisters.
Mm-hmm. But he's practicing one though. Not a tongue twister. He's practicing some anyway. So chats up Hannah about scheduling, basically scheduling a trip to Thursday. Meanwhile, it's just, well, the other side has to approve. Just consider it approved. So meanwhile, he's prepping his client Veronica. He's okay, you got the sleeves covered up. You pull your hair back and lose the hardware. The judge doth protest. A chin pillars, but the hole's going to close up. And we have this great Saul Goodman line. I love this Saul Goodman line so much, and I love that we're getting more and more of these lines as we're going forward. Into every life, a little rain must fall. Yes, it's Goodman dialogue. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Perfect line. So then the other side kind of wanders by, and again, it's basically the idea is Saul Goodman is so acutely aware of what's going on in a courthouse right now. He's just prepared for everyone walking by, and he's waiting for everyone specifically to walk by, and just turning. To all these guys, and just like he's whining and dining them like left and right. He's a smooth operator at Saul Goodman here, and it's just like the other side.
I mean, he told him that he's got a system, and this is a system.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the other side instantly agrees. Like, yeah, we'll move trip to Thursday, as he told Hannah just a few seconds ago. Then Oakley's coming by as he's coming down the stairs, and he's saying, "Wait, how did you get witnesses in your?
What did you do, essentially,
for the leader?
Or for, in other words, what was that?"
Yep, and then yet again we have this great overhead shot as we have another Saul Goodman-esque line here. It says, "Life's a rich pageant. Who are we to judge?" So 6 months probation, 70 hours community service. And I guess it's Oakley. I guess I'm saying Oakley right now is just frazzled. He's not quite happy. He's just more like, I guess he doesn't know what to make of this Saul Goodman yet. So then we're back to start, and then again we're thinking, okay, Jimmy's about to kill it with the ADA in there. He's about to kill it with Erickson, but before that happens, our guy shows up.
Yeah, Dragon, I have a feeling we're not going to be seeing much of Howard Hamlin this season, but it's thrilling when we do get him.
So Howard Hamlin, the glorious Patrick Fabian arrives, folks. He's here.
Congratulations, Jimmy. You're back in the saddle.
I love that. Now, I was wrong about something when we were talking about last season. Well, basically, one of the things, my speculation, I kind of, on the rewatch and this, I've now put it together after this episode. Okay, so after Jimmy gave him the advice in the Andrew Stanton episode, in the Pinata episode, after before the time jump, Jimmy told him, like, you're a crappy lawyer, Howard, the whole F you, Jimmy. He says, you can do this, man. You can pull HHM by the bootstraps and get it all up and running again. So then
yeah.
So after the time jump, it suggested, I guess now, he listened to what Jimmy said, and he did fix HHM. So I think Jimmy's words helped. I think Howard Hamlin wants to show some gratitude here.
I feel like in this scene, Howard Hamlin has more respect for Jimmy McGill than he's ever had before. And, man, again, like everything else in this season, Dragon, I feel like by the end of the season, that respect is going to come crashing down in some way.
Remember,
like, I don't know what Saul's going to pull on poor Howard, but I don't think it's going to be good.
Now, remember, Howard he said to Kim that one time, I've always wanted to hang my own shingle, and essentially Jimmy's doing that right now with Saul Goodman. I love hearing Patrick Fabian finally, after all this time, saying, so, Saul Goodman.
Exactly. Yes.
But he's not judging.
He respects the hustle, Dragon. He respects the hustle.
That's the thing. He's not like saying, "Oh, Saul Goodman." He's not like an Oakley, like Saul Goodman, like your
no, not at all. You know what? I've got some spec for Howard, but I'll save it for spec.
I'm excited. Right. I'm excited. Okay, so like the business is good. Best years ever. He's back in the Hamlin Indigo Blue. Everything's going great. And says he wants to set up lunch sometime, which is big thing for spec. He wants to set up a lunch sometime. So, of course. Unfortunately, Howard's just throwing off his timing completely now because now Erickson's walking through the doors. Says, okay, Howard, we'll set up lunch. I tell Julie to call my people. And it's like, see ya, Howard. I love that. See ya, Howard. I love when he brushes them off. Anyway, so basically he rushes up to Suzanne Erickson. Of course, we set her up before. She's part of the big Cochado affair, the whole gun thing with Mike, and she's in El Camino. I believe she got promoted to DA in El Camino. I'm not sure. Time passed.
Okay.
Anyway, so she hates Saul Goodman because of the whole Cochado affair. Because she knows, again, whether she knows it was Jimmy, I think she can smartly assume it was Jimmy McGill. But the point being is, like, she hates Saul Goodman, the phone guy, and that whole tied into the whole Huel affair. So Jimmy wants to lightning round the 16 cases that the two of them share. We share something in common: 16 cases.
Right.
And he
Right.
wants to do this in 20 minutes, and basically, instead of their Tuesday meeting that they already have kind of set up, he wants to kind of like kill two birds with one stone, essentially. And also, he wants to, as Erickson calls him out right now on, says, "My problem is I don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with with you're just trying to to kind of turn over your cases. You're just trying to essentially you have 45 clients and you promise them all speedy justice. You want to make more money with more clients, and that's not my problem." Which is she's absolutely right. And anyways, he gets on the elevator, and that elevator bit gives him an idea.
Awful idea. The Saul got a wonderful, awful idea.
The good man got a wonderful, awful idea. Okay, Lalo.
All right. So they're kind of sitting around speculating about what to do about Crazy Eight. Lalo's asking Nacho if he trusts Crazy Eight. Nacho saying like, yeah, he's known him for a long time. And Dragon, oh my God, Michael Mandow. I love how committed Nacho is to this whole thing, to getting Lalo on his side, to the point where it's like he just straight up comes right on and says it. He's like, "Do you want me to take care of it?"
And he's friends with his parents. Know his parents, man. That's a deep betrayal there.
I mean, that is it's haunting. Just how effective the Gus threat is, to the point where it's like, all right, like all the morals are just off the table. It's pure survival at this point.
I mean, remember, he at the behest of Salamanca has done such a number on Nacho, because one has like that bone implanted in him that from Tuco at one time. He's got he had to beat the crap out of Crazy Eight that one time at the behest of he owes, like that whole thing, and now. And now this is going to have to possibly kill Crazy, which we know he's not going to do for obvious reasons. But
right,
the point is, it's between his father and Crazy Eight, and obviously he's going to go.
Oh no, Chewbacca! Look out! You might get killed.
All right. But also, you neglected to mention one of the best parts of the scene, Tiki. Lalo's making proud of his boy tacos.
Oh my God! All right, yes, you're right. Proud of this boy tacos.
Speaking of which, he has that bit with Nacho showing a little bit of trust. God. Shows a little bit of trust. Where like, should I tell the men to go? Because basically they're lying low after the whole thing. He says, "You know what, Ignacio, your call." With a big old smile on his face. God love Tony Dalton, man, just wonderful Tony Dalton. All right. So then I love.
I've said this before, and I would love to see Tony Dalton play like a Bond villain or something.
I'm down for it. So, be an irony with like another Dalton in a Bond movie, but
yeah, right.
It's crazy they're not related. It's crazy, but they do look a little similar.
Dalton, another T Dalton.
I know, though. That's great, though. It's what a world. Anyway, so I love Lalo. I love all the Salamancas have like a stare down. Lalo has one too. He eats that taco. He does not break eye contact, and then like not saying should I take care of it. Now, this is an interesting line for Spec. He says, "Oh, no, I've got something better for him," which, that's a question. Like, when he says better for him, what does he mean?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, Erickson and Saul Goodman get stuck in an elevator. Saul walking into the Ken Wynn style Bluetooth, kind of chatting away, and then I think he faked that call, by the way. I'm afraid. Well, he faked the call. Who am I kidding? So... fakes the phone calls. I'm going to lose you in the elevator. Of course, the doors close, and they get stuck between floors. And I love him selling desperation. No.
Yeah. That's the great sell of the whole thing. Is like, even when she's on the phone trying to get someone to come fix it, he's still like kind of cursing, like, "God damn it!" Mm-hmm. And she kind of has to like shush him, like, "Quiet," to rein it in.
So basically, the two lawyers, they do their prep while they're waiting, and she's gonna lose quiet.
In this situation, it's like he sets it up to where she kind of has to make the first move.
Yes. Love it. I love it. So such a brilliant. This is such a brilliant scam. It's so great. So yeah, she's looking through her files. He's rehearsing quietly, in quotes quietly. So just there's little rehearsals. What are you doing? Well, I gotta prepare. And then he just, "Can you do a little more silence?" "Oh yeah, sure." And he does. But he's still emphasizing words in the voice for Saul Goodman way, like deep moral fortitude. So then, just to pacify him, to shut him up, and to pass time in a way they don't have to annoy each other. It's just okay. Let's just name one case, and we'll bargain for it. And he does. The two negotiate. They start off with Veronica Nix, who basically her aunt berated her, and she basically stole the aunt's van or stole her car, basically just to get away from her. So tell me a jury who. Tell me a jury who hasn't been chewed out by. Show me a jury that hasn't been chewed out by a relative at some point. So. This leads to, okay, 1 year probation, sold. And to her surprise, like, sold, no negotiation. I'm easy. Then they did the more. It's a really clever glimpse. I love this. I love that he gave her a gimme to sell the rest, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect sales pitch, man. It's all going to be the best sales.
Dragon, it's like the drug deal thing. It's like the first taste is free.
Mm-hmm. First taste, yeah, absolutely. Legal drug use, folks. Legal. The drug of the law. All right, so basically, we see they're all comfy in the elevator at this point. She's taking off her shoes, just looking through all their files there. Like they're going through the Tanika Berman, I think, basically the whole vampire stunt, and the idea of this lady she put on some sort of probably just sort of like ritualistic thing as a vampire, and it was like he spun as like it was a prank, and like there was fire. It's arson. Well, the knife was the knife was real, but it was a prop though. It was used as a prop, and was the fire a prop? Well, the blood was. I love how he says the blood was fake. He says, how does that matter? I love that. Anyway, so they compromise on 16 months plus fines. TBD.
I love how Jimmy's kind of just like all right, fines, TBD. he's going along with it. He's not happy about it, but it's like, all right.
So, elevator's back, 20 minutes. So again, I love that within all this, Jimmy did have a point. They could have lightning rounded it to save themselves a meeting on Tuesday. So I like that Jimmy wasn't he did have selfish motivations, mind you, with the whole speedy justice he promised for 45 clients.
Honestly, it seems like this is the only problem I have with this scene at All Dragon, just logistically. Or logistically, Jesus. Yeah, sorry, that's not a word. Logistically, like it feels like a little bit of a long way to go to save 20 minutes.
Well, no, he saved like a whole meeting on Tuesday, so like probably like an hour-long meeting. But but you're right. He
Still, it seems like a long way to go to save an hour. To save, let's say, 40 minutes out of that hour.
But again, he wants the word of mouth. If he wants speedy justice, as in like you don't have to wait a whole another week within the whole 2-week promotion window. I guess that's the idea. Anyway, so now like they have like. Sorry. Anyway, so like that, but they have 3 left for their little meeting on Tuesday, which I'm sure is going to go by really fast. And then we reveal that Jimmy traded basically a legal favor, as in like he'll basically cover, he'll get the elevator guy's brother out of Dodge in exchange for stopping the elevator for 20 minutes. My brother's record. Right. If they clean as Doris Day's greatest hits. I love that.
I love that line. Classic Saul Goodman.
Also, I love Doris Day, so I really did like that line too.
All right, so Dragon, for the second episode in a row, we get Jimmy eating ice cream.
We do. Jimmy's walking down. I love the simplicity of this set. Just so like he had a good day. He's using his Ken Wynn's Bluetooth, walking down the street, talking to clients, eating ice cream at the same time. How his hands are free. Everything's going great. Everything's coming up Millhouse for Saul Goodman right now. He's chatting up the clients. I love this little callback to season 3 here, where he says to the guy earlier who we got the community 70 hours community service with locally. He says, "Hey, 70 hours will be a breeze. Trust me," because of course Jimmy would know about the community service. So he's telling this lady about the legal jousting. Jousting is the thing they did in the medieval times. Anyway, so then a car pulls up and follows behind him, and it's Nacho and Blingy.
Oh man! Oh god! Dragon, I'm just geeking out at this point because this is just history in the making right here. I mean, you gotta think that whatever business that goes down with Lalo, it starts here, right? You gotta think so.
It starts here. Question: if this is the big thing that he's going to be in trouble over or not? That's the question. But the point being, it starts here.
Right.
So we have a nod, like Nacho's kind of nods like get. I love a nod. Nacho only says get in. That's all he needs to say because he knows he can
And
intimidate the.
I love how Saul is just like so pathetically like, oh, your timing is not great.
A little swamped right now. Like long time no see. And they open. I just love that Nacho opens the door, doesn't say a word after. Just opens the door as we're just going for a ride, right? Because he knows he's no way he's getting out. It's like, yeah, we're just going for a ride, right? Now I love this. Before he gets in the car, Nacho just wags his finger and saying no ice cream in Blingy's car. So Saul Goodman, this is gonna sound a little corny here, but I love this. So Saul Goodman, he gets into a new mess as we symbolize it with the ice cream on the sidewalk, which also parallels the lawn gnome at the start. It's kind of a cone-like sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's broken. All right.
Hey, perfect. You want to do Spec Dragon?
Yes, so we got a little bit of a promo here. Wait a minute. Tiki, you know what? Before we go any further, I'm worried about Jimmy. Are you worried about Jimmy?
Well, yeah, I would say so. I mean, not really, because I think he makes it out okay. You know, this is like, we know he's gonna live, but you know what I mean. Like, yes, I'm worried about Jimmy Dragon.
Yes, but you know, Tiki, I have a feeling, based on that ending, we're not going to get a hold of Jimmy. But you know who we should call, though? We should try Nacho. Let's call him.
Let's
go to the source. Okay. Oh, for the kids at home, too, dial this number. 505.
Okay.
242.
Okay.
6087.
All right. I love how these numbers are literally listed as. Oh. Sorry.
Well, no luck on Nacho, kids. It looks like Nacho's not going to answer the phone anytime soon because he's probably busy doing some really bad stuff to America's favorite lawyer. Says, let's speculate on
right.
that. So,
I'm sorry. I was just saying, like, I love how when you call these numbers, it literally lists the number as Albuquerque, New Mexico.
It does.
All right. So my big Howard theory, Dragon. Jimmy is going to pull something on Howard that he thinks is in good fun on like a Bill Oakley kind of level, but it burns the bridge with Howard. It goes too far because Howard, you know, takes Jimmy's friendship personally. You know what I mean? Like Howard, I feel like at this point, like he has more respect for Jimmy than he's ever had. So I feel like because of that, the fall with Howard is going to be more painful.
I think I'd agree with that. Basically, I think Howard's basically going to use the lunch as an opportunity to thank him for giving him the inspiration to kind of get HHM out of Dodge, and probably going to establish that it's the last McGill connection that he has, and again, like Jimmy, after he was kind of made aware the whole chuck of it all, like they did treat him well. They did become friends, and I think basically I'm sympathetic with you. The point being, I think in the long run, Jimmy's going to get the idea to kind of scam Howard at some point in the long run. All right. Oh, you know what he might do? He might use the well, no, he can't use the McGill in the name. The point being, he might use HHM against Howard in a way it's going to be really, really ugly. Okay. So we're getting.
I mean, honestly, I can't even begin to speculate on what's going on with the Lalo stuff and how Jimmy's going to get out of that. I'm honestly really surprised we're getting the car stuff this early.
Well, I did kind of call that, though. I called the rule of the first 5.
You did. You did call it. You did call it.
So, from the promo, we did get some footage here. Jimmy's in the car. Kim is looking for someone. I presume Jimmy. She's asking about someone on the phone frantically, which could be Jimmy. Like, he hasn't heard from him in a while, presumably because of this business. So, it could be Jimmy. Mike is drinking at his bar, his famous bar from Breaking Bad. And again, he's still drowning his sorrows, even more alone than he was before. And Saul Goodman saying lines like, who did I just set up? And like, I hope if there's any blowback, I don't want to be in the middle of it. So obviously, there's going to be some.
He's going to be.
And Mike, there's a chance this could be like in the episode after this, but I mean, Mike going up against the gang.
I'm really excited about that scene, man.
I have a theory. Okay,
that scene, theory. I've said it before, but that scene has like Dark Knight Returns written all over it.
Oh yes, it does. Here's my theory. Mike is going to his bar, drowning his sorrows, and basically he sees these guys walking in the bar. He's looking for punishment for himself, and that way probably maybe irritates him, and then he just kind of like gets into a fight on the way home or something. Either that, or the point being, he either intentionally or unintentionally gets into it with these guys at the bar. That's my call for the next episode. Let's see. Okay. There's something I meant to mention in the first episode. It was implied heavily that Ed's number, the disappear's number, was not through the vet. Basically, they've established that, as far as they're concerned, the writer's room, Mike does not know Ed Gilbraith's number, which means it's probably not through the vet, who we could probably find that out from. So, pointing, Jimmy gets the disappears number through some source that we have no idea how he gets it, and it's a very valuable thing that Saul Goodman has that Mike and none of the other guys do have.
Interesting.
Here's my prediction. Given how fast we got, Robert Forster this season, QB. I think we're getting QB in episode 8 in Bagman, and QB's going to be the Diamond Mystery.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Okay, let's see. Not much here. Either Lalo or... Here's a question. Does Lalo seek out Saul Goodman because of all the word of mouth and all the buzz of Saul Goodman lately? Or is it Nacho? I think so. Or is it Nacho trying to spring Crazy 8, knowing a lawyer in his back pocket? Oh, yeah, I know that Saul Goodman guy from way back in the first season. So that's the question. Who is seeking out Saul Goodman? That's the question. Because Lalo said...
My guess is it would be Lalo, because like you said, like Lalo is, I'm sorry.
He's got something better in mind for him. He's got something better in mind for Crazy 8. Yeah. It implies a non-lethal approach, which would be through the little lawyer, who Nacho coincidentally knows, just more pressure on Nacho.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and he's going to be representing Crazy 8. It's pretty simple. Okay. Final thoughts.
All right, so final thoughts. I don't think this episode is quite as much of a splash as the first episode, but it's still very good. It's like I believe that we were going to get to the car by the first 5, Dragon, but I wasn't predicting we were going to get to the car by the end of the second hour. I mean, that's still a surprise, even within the first 5. So we're going along at a rapid pace. I do think there's some scenes in this episode that maybe were a little bit drawn out, like the elevator scene and the opening scene. But, it's fine. It doesn't derail the episode by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. I just think that episode 1 was, very, very, finely tuned. I would give episode 1 probably a 9 out of 10. I would give this one an 8 out of 10. It's still a very good hour of TV. Can't wait to see what happens next.
Final thoughts for me. This episode, I think, sets a tone for the season of the domino effect and the whole telltale consequence kind of theme of the season. Again, if you look at the 50% off of it all, this episode's we're literally showing half Saul Goodman, half the cartel story, and then again, like Jimmy. The brilliant thing about this episode is again how that little 50% off thing is how Jimmy's crossing over to the cartel stuff. Just him doing his little 50% off promotion is what caused the cartel all these problems and putting Crazy 8 in the situations in now. And again, incidentally, presumably, all this Crazy 8 stuff. In a way, we're kind of saying that Saul Goodman is the reason for Breaking Bad with this episode, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of heady and kind of awesome at the same time. So again, the domino effect is palatable and it's wonderful. Basically, this episode is definitely the worlds collide, 50% both here. Of course, the colliding of Jim McGill and Saul Goodman. It's kind of like a more scaled down version of 747. All these events are happening because of these little decisions, but again, it's not quite as bombastic and people dead falling from the sky like 747. But again, a lot more scaled down, a little ground level this time. Kind of the mundane Better Call Saul version of that. We have characters like Mike and Nacho. They're off their game, or they're facing really dire stakes. And of course, the balance, the big thing, the balance of Jimmy and Kim is thrown off tremendously. Hence the 50% off of it all through that promotion and everything that is to follow. It's a very exciting episode, amping up the tension. It continues we're continuing building up the Saul Goodman antics. It was a great time, man. Loved it.
All right, take us out.
Remember, kids, when you get that phone call, make it count. Better Call Saul. Saul Goodman and Associates. It's the one-stop shop for all your legal needs.
And with that, we are adjourned.